Welcome to the Strategic Life Podcast, episode 113, Getting Old, with your host, Coach Mario.
Dr. Mario.
Along with Frank.
It's happening as we speak.
Only to him.
You're getting older.
Speak for yourself.
Please.
I'm aging like wine.
That's still getting older.
No,
No one said you were...
aging.
What?
I age. I don't get old.
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Okay, well, you hear it all the time. Things are constantly telling you you're getting older. You're seeing women in commercials splashing their faces, get this youth revitalizing cream. Someone's asking how the kids are, and you're like, oh, they're getting older. we know that, genius. But how are they? It happens all the time.
None of the above.
Frank, well, when you don't know,
I don't know what you're talking about.
When you don't know your kids, Frank, it's because they're in other countries.
I know them. I just don't claim them. If I can't claim them on my taxes, I won't claim them in real life.
He's not a fan of responsibility.
No, that's not true either. Maybe.
Wow.
Hot start on this podcast episode.
Should have seen what it took to start
Indeed.
this episode.
So,
True story.
we're talking about getting old. So, yes, I mean, I did allude to it a little bit, but
Alluded to it.
something's always reminding you that you're getting older or that time is flying by, or you'll see some things in your social media of like, hey, commercials from, I mean, that's the one thing I've noticed. I've gotten these commercials from the 90s and all this stuff. So, naturally, I forward it to make everybody else feel old. You see child stars, where are they now? And you're like, oh, look at the Olsen twins, they're 40 and whatnot. So we're constantly reminded of what the intention is, that it's good to get old.
My social media is cars, news, and influencers.
Female ones.
Influencers.
With minimal clothing.
Influencers.
Not everybody gets the opportunity to get old. And normally it's seen, or normally you have conversations with some older people.
That is true.
They're quick to tell you about their doctor appointments and what hurts that day and things of that nature. But what people don't reflect on too much is that getting old is an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And not everyone gets that opportunity.
And it's not about how many body replacements and that sort of thing, right?
And what you're doing with that opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because some of us are just Botoxing our good age away. No, it's true.
How do I look?
It's true. Like, man, like...
Stick to the bongos, man.
Man, getting older is cool. Like you learn a lot, you see a lot, you're experiencing a lot. Now, don't let it go to waste. If you're getting old and you're just drifting by in the rat race, then that again, it's not too late. Go back an episode and start over. But honestly, getting old is cool, man. I enjoy it. I get that all the time, right? Like, oh, Frank, we got to do Botox. You got wrinkles and the crow's feet, right? And all that stuff. And I get that all the time. I love that stuff, man. Like, you know how many times I've cried and laughed in order to get these crow's feet? Like, I love it. Like,
Sign of maturity.
Yeah, man. Well, I don't know about maturity, but definitely age.
Okay.
But I've come to find out that I've enjoyed getting older. Right, I look back on like high school days. That was stressful. Going to school,
I wasn't stressed one bit.
Really, my high school days were stressful. I'm having more fun now than I did in high school or after.
That 1A, those 4 Bs, and that 1 or 2 occasional C's with no issues, no stress.
Like I look forward to
also,
what
no
tomorrow
studying,
brings, man.
Just natural raw talent.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
All there.
Right. So
There's
getting
a lot of
back
this
to
podcast.
So here's this.
the age.
But I would love to hear from you guys, right? Because
Let me talk to the older guy in the room.
No. Slow down, Kimosabi, right? As
you can get fired.
we're gonna go through it, right? The
Yes.
big brother of the group,
yes.
Right? Also grandfather, and then coming from a father's perspective, and seeing when you get older and seeing your kids grow as well, right? So, from your point of view, it's also something incredible, right? You guys must live that 2 times.
Yeah, no, it's we actually enjoy each other's company and the families.
Who?
And my daughters when they come and their families as well. I enjoy Frank's company as well.
What?
Yes, Frank.
You never told me that.
Yes.
That's different from what you said when the mic wasn't on. But go ahead.
We're recording, right?
We are recording so for posterity. I mean, he's even been to my church. Come on. Yes. So look,
It burned a little on the way in.
Did smell
No, he did not.
Go ahead. Okay.
The wisdom, right? I believe is just so rich because you've seen how your kids have developed. I mean, my 3 adult kids now have their own families and their children, and how they're passing on that wisdom, that legacy is being created every single day. And I think that you can only do that if you age well. So there's people that are getting older, but you can age well. I have Mario and I don't know if you've met him yet, Frank, but Carlos Otero, Charlie, we call him Manito with love. Shout out to Manito and Liz. They are in Mexico City, and he's a coach and a trainer. I had the pleasure of coaching him for a few years, and they're really best of friends. He has a program called 99 Minimum, 99 Mínimo, and it's an aging well program on how he basically teaches and coaches younger people to age well, as opposed to what we see in many other countries, including America, where people are aging and Alzheimer's and dementia and so many other things that overcoming. And so it's all about nutrition, and it's all about taking care of the body and the soul. Shameless plug, go back to whatever episode that was. But it's more about resilience.
Yeah.
The resilience when you age well. And some people call it positive attitude, positive mindset, positive psychology, whatever you want to call it. But I call it resilience, is that ability to look at things and see things from a different perspective, an eternal perspective of what you are living here in the now, but what awaits for you in the future. You know, that's the beauty of it. And so there are so many other elements as well, is being able to participate. And I'm very fortunate because Wanda and I celebrated a few weeks ago, 46th wedding anniversary. And for us, we married very young, and we are able to treasure, live the moments of our kids and the grandkids, to include the youngest one, who's a fire starter. Mario's daughter, of course, like father, like daughter. But
She's cute.
You know, she is cute.
But she does not have a pause button.
It's like Tasmanian devil. She just spins and runs and.
In her defense, she's not bad. She just doesn't stop. Like,
No,
like she'll eat
correct.
standing.
She's a beautiful soul. She's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
child.
She's just high energy.
Yeah, it takes high energy to engender high
So
energy.
continue. Blessings, my children, your children.
Yeah, no, I mean, and then so it's wisdom, it's resilience, it's living well. You know, looking forward to what people call retirement, but I've been retired several times now. I retired from the military, retired from the law firm, but just living well, doing what you are passionate about, serving God, serving people, helping others. You know, I enjoy going into our youth environments in our church, the Gen Z, the kids ministries, and just sharing with them and asking them questions and how are you today, and seeing what they're going through now. That's the treasure of aging well. You've seen it, you've done it, but now you're encouraging others to do it better, to make it better.
I mean, that's one thing. I think I'd like to say, and we've talked about this before, that each generation always feels, and I'm gonna throw the example in with music, right? But each generation feels like it was different before them. Right, and obviously things have evolved, and the internet came out, the World Wide Webs, and we didn't have that when you were kids, and all those things. But every generation will tell you that the music in their prime, I guess physical prime, right? If we're talking about like sports in their teens to mid 20s to maybe early 30s, they're always going to tell you that that's what real music was, and this new stuff is not. But it's in essence the same thing, that people that get older as well start to look around. And as a parent, since Frank kind of was hitting around that subject, as a parent, I mean, our generation was the last to really use all the analog type of technology and going straight to digital, including the internet and smartphones and all those things. So it's an interesting thing to be able to get bullied online, where in my day you used to have to get punched by the neighborhood bully. But it's true, like all the good things that came with it brought some bad ones too. So it's for me, as I get older and I see things how when I was young, like the first signs of, I think, cyberbullying was probably the Miami Sunset School message board. Because that was the first time people could hide behind something and say something. Like you had AOL Instant Messenger, you had those chats, but that was the first time, I don't know if you ever saw that, but there was a message board from Miami Sunset and someone's like, blankety blank has crappy hair. And that would just be a post. And so that was the first time I
remember that.
Yeah, Miami Sunset had a message board for a couple years.
You see, I feel old right now because I don't remember ever being cyberbullied. Like you said, my bullying days were in person.
They threw a rock at you.
Yeah.
Someone told you you were trash to your face.
I don't know about being stoned.
Oh yeah.
All right, Moses.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can remember.
Somebody got stoned?
I can remember junior high school.
He said someone threw a rock at him.
Yes.
Oh, one rock. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say that's a different type of stone.
No, but so okay,
Cheech.
yeah, like I don't remember cyberbullying. Like I was never a part of that, and I never received it that way. Like for me, my bullying was always like if somebody was gonna make fun of my car, or my clothes, or me, like it was always in person. It was always
correct.
during school or after school. Somebody would say some really bad joke.
So that's what I'm getting at, is that as things have evolved for me, that's one thing. I mean, the context of this podcast is the beauty of getting older,
Right.
And so what I want to frame in this is that not that it's, obviously we know bullying exists, but I feel
Old?
No, not old. I wish there was more I could do to protect my children in this new way where someone can give them a problem and not even be around them, not even have to show face. So I do feel in that way, I feel not sorry for them. I don't know how else to put words to it, but I want to do more to be able to protect my kids in that.
Yes.
And that's something that now as I've gotten older, like I wish I could do for them. But I mean, it's also going to have so many other great things to be, like it's funny talking to my son about, I'm like, well, when you missed the show when I was a kid, you just missed it.
Correct.
Like the show had to be good enough to be syndicated and to be put on a VHS or a DVD. Correct. For you to ever see that episode again.
Right.
You missed the season finale of whatever it was. Like
you missed it.
It was done. So, I mean, and they're like, what? Really? You couldn't just watch it whenever you wanted? So it's cool. And obviously the technology evolves and they'll be able to do way more cooler things. I mean, but it's just been, it's been awesome seeing how the things that I grew up with and things and traditions that were in my house, like doing it with them, right? So, I mean, if I think of it just off the top of my head, one thing we did in our home was, the Thanksgiving was when we for sure put up the Christmas tree. Like that was the go ahead. Thanksgiving's here. We put up the Christmas tree for Thanksgiving. And so like, the kids know when, it's Thanksgiving, it's almost time, obviously if I let my oldest daughter, Alicia, run it, she put up the Christmas tree in September. But it's just, it's a beautiful thing. And I don't think it gets focused on enough. You just, like I said, you focus on, or you hear more about what's happening. And even being around some people in the older community, I could just recall some experience of mine, of being around some older people and just them losing close friends of theirs, some of my elders losing their people and them just saying, well, looks like I'm next, everyone around me. And it's just kind of, it obviously, when you reach that point in your life where those losses start happening more and more, it is sad, but at the same time, like I said, a lot of people don't get that opportunity. Think about how many people, whether it's in your grade school, your high school, who died in car accidents and loss of life everywhere and just freak accidents and things of that nature. We don't all get that opportunity. So to be able to put icy hot on your brittle old bones and have to recover from hip surgery, from falling outside down a couple steps or whatever, is an opportunity that some people that were lost a long time ago will never have and would take any day.
Well, I feel it I feel it when I
feel it in my lower back.
No, can I tell you? Sometimes. No, but
L4 and L5.
Man, I feel it when I hear the younger crowd. When I'm around my friends' kids or around just younger people, whether it's at the gym or a bar or whatever, or in any environment, then I hear them say things, and then no, and the age comes in. Well, I'll figure it out by the time I hit 25. And you're like, wait, how old are you? You're like, oh, I'm 24, I'm 23, 22, whatever it is. And then I'm like, and then my brain goes to where I was at 24, right? And where I'm at now. And I'm like, dude, like the things you're gonna go through. And that's when it hits me like, wow, I've lived a lot. Like I've lived a hell of a life, man. Like and it's not just the time, but the quality of life, right? Which is I think what Coach is alluding to, where the quality of life that you've lived, you should really take a moment and be grateful for that at whatever age. Cause yeah, some people don't get there. And that's something that you should be blessed with. And then you should also realize that getting too old on your way there is something to be grateful about as well. Because the things that are going to come your way are beautiful. All of it. All of it is beautiful. All of it are going to make you a different person. All of them are going to change you. All of them, it's art, right? You're going to have your good scenes, your bad scenes, but it's still a hell of a movie to watch. But seeing that's when it strikes me, the music part as well. Yeah, we talk about it a lot, right? Especially especially hip hop.
We talked about it today.
Yeah, just music in general, and then you hear it, and they're like, "Oh no, but this," and I'm like, "That's trash." Like that's like these young kids nowadays, these whippersnappers, and
Earth, Wind, and Fire would be rolling in their graves. They heard this.
Seeing music now and the sampling of it. Right, where they're like, oh, I love this song, bro. Like, I was there for the original, the remix, the sample, and now this is like the fourth iteration of this song. Like, stop, Yeah,
it blew my mind when I heard that the Fugees, back in the day, they're like, oh, that's an old song. And I was like, what?
Same thing, man. Like when you see, how many different Batmans have we gone through?
Wow.
Yeah, like
just 1989. Michael Keaton was our first one,
but
he's got the older one.
Adam West.
He's got Adam West.
He's got Adam West. But so you start the things that you go through and even the same thing and how they're different. Now imagine that in your life. Imagine the first Batman you saw and then the last Batman you saw. Now your life is going to be that same way.
That's a little different.
Your first relationship as opposed to your last relationship, right? Your first job versus to the one you're currently in.
The old Star Trek you used to watch.
Oh wow!
Versus the new one with the paper space.
I didn't watch a lot of Star Trek.
Versus Picard now.
Space is moving on the wallpaper.
So and then for me, what I've appreciated about getting old, it's just the freedom. I feel I have more freedom the older I get, both, physically, financially, emotionally. I feel that I'm able to have a better grasp on my emotion. I know how to control things. I don't get sad easily. I don't, because I've seen some stuff already. So it's like, okay, like this will pass. There's no need to linger on here. You start realizing what is important, right? Hey, look, this is a real good friend. I'm going to treasure that relationship because the last time I had a friend like that, like I lost him, right? And you'll value things more. Same thing with even in materialistic possessions, right? Hey, I'm gonna take care of this car a little more because I know what it's like to have a nice car, or hey, you know what? I really want to value this house, or I want to value this rent or this furniture because I know how expensive furniture can be. Little things like that, the things that you'll value more. Even the electronics. Hey, like you learn to value, the electronics because you know what it's like to break something and then have to rebuy it.
I've always taken care of my stuff, but I can totally see where, like, man, that first apartment I rented, I trashed that place, and you're thinking like what the landlord went through with that carpet and whatnot, but and now you're like, wait, I know what it is to replace carpet or no.
Yeah, man.
But it's funny that you mentioned the thing, hearing about people talk about their age, because I actually wrote it here. By a show of hands, who thought they would have life figured out at the age of 25? Or 30 or 35. Like you thought, like, no, I'm going to have a big old house, yard, probably pool.
My first financial calculation was I was working at Winn-Dixie and I was like, and I was what? I was 16, 17. And they would give me almost full-time hours. And I remember having that and I was making, it was like $5.25 an hour. And I was like, man, this is going to be great. After I finish high school and I go, I'm going to have my 20, 30K a year job. And I'm thinking 20, 30K a year job. And that was like my first, I'll remember that vividly. And I'm like, man, at that point, I can go to school. I have enough for my little things, right? And I can still afford something. I can afford rent or something.
You can afford a pastelito one day.
Well, no. But the things that mattered then aren't the things that matter now.
Today,
right? It's not, you know, and that's what I mean by the freedom. So it's just, your life will change.
Yeah, no, definitely aging, and like you said, the emotional intelligence quotient definitely by far increases with age, and appreciation for technology for me is the availability to go back now and see some of those episodes that we missed the ending, right? Because now you have, you know, the I Love Lucy's, and you have, you know, My Favorite Martian, all those.
You watched that? My favorite. That's the wait. No,
yeah.
what's my favorite? I was thinking Mork and Mindy. What's my favorite Martian?
Well, Mork and Mindy was there. My Favorite Martian was another one, and then there was Lost in Space.
I heard of that.
Yeah, Lost in Space, and
all those shows were like what let me know like at Nick at Night that I had to turn it off and go to bed. When I heard the MASH intro come on, it lights out. No, we're not watching
the MASH
that.
was classic.
Those are when I heard Andy Griffith.
See, I remember those.
Yes,
I remember those.
yes, yes.
The only one I watched, I think, was I Dream of Jeannie was entertaining. Like, I remember that coming on.
Definitely.
I remember those. I didn't watch
Barbara
any of that
Eden.
stuff.
Oh, she was great.
Well, we had great stuff, right? We had Saved by the Bell. We had Full House.
That
we
one
had
was
Family
good,
Matters.
yeah.
Like, we had good
That
sitcoms.
was the TGI. That was the Friday night we're staying at home and
we had-
watching TV lineup.
Yes.
Right
But we had good TV coming up.
Again.
And again, to Coach's point,
But, yeah.
if you didn't watch it, you tune in next week, and then you would see Zach and Kelly in different areas, and you're like, wait, I missed an episode.
Right.
And good luck.
They're working at the beach. Why aren't they in school?
Why aren't they working at the Max anymore?
I mean, but again, just like we mentioned, we'll say that those were good sitcoms, and then of course it's funny because me and my wife will put them on, like, you know, if we're doing dishes or cleaning up, you know, we put on something mindless. So sometimes those things will be on. We'll have like the other day, I think Step by Step came on, and then Family Matters came on, right? Aging ourselves for real. And so we're like watching them and laughing. So Allie walks in, she goes, "This looks old." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"It is old, honey."
No, you got to say it's classic.
Yeah, it's vintage, definitely. But yeah. So
We're classic. We're vintage.
I think, like I said, anyone else, like, you know, the younger generation is gonna say when they get older that, yeah, I remember the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody was real show. You know, like they're gonna have the same mentality, but we have to appreciate it all nonetheless. It's all part of the journey.
Yes.
Well,
No, you don't like the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody?
you know what? I'm gonna go hard on our audience.
Here we go.
Right. I thought this episode I wasn't gonna do it, but now we're here. You young kids don't appreciate it. And you know why you don't appreciate it? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna talk directly to the camera and these young whippersnappers, right?
I don't think they're
Yeah.
listening. But let them know.
Let them know.
The problem is this. For me to go get good music, why I appreciate my music was because I had to wait for Best Buy to put that thing on a CD and then go to the store
On New Release Tuesday.
Right, new release Tuesday,
There you go.
and hopefully they had enough copies and it didn't sell out, or God forbid it was one of these like, oh, exclusive at Virgin Records only, and you're like, okay, here we go. Now I gotta drive. Wait, I'm lying. I'm sorry. I have to find a ride because it's not like I was driving at that time. I have to find a ride, right, 30 minutes across town to go pick up a CD.
Oh, yeah. No.
Then once you got the CD, then you had to go get a CD player, and then you had to pray that you were fortunate enough to have one of those like anti-shocks ones,
Anti-skip,
the
yeah.
anti-skip ones. So then you would put the CD in there, and then you would listen to it. And then when you were committed to the CD, you would listen from track 1 to track 300 if it
And
had
that's
it.
another thing. You bought the CD, only hearing the single. You're like, I hope this crap
And then
is
you
good.
would pray that album was fantastic. You're like, oh my God, I hope the other 13 songs I just finished paying $19.99 for
with the
and
three
sweated
interludes.
on a bus to go get are worth it.
I remember riding my bike with a PlayStation 2 on my back from West Kendall. I had the money. I saved the money from working. I went from West Kendall. I went to Walmart, to Target, to Service Merchandise, which I don't know.
I
think it's
remember
called
Service
an extra.
Merchandise.
It's extra.
Oh, it
On
was-
Kendall Drive, there's an extra. It's an extra now, I think. To Service Merchandise. all the way down to Best Buy, and then no one had it. I finally got to Toys R Us on my mountain bike, riding down Kendall. I put a PS2 in my backpack and rode home with it. But anyways, we had to work for our stuff. What do? You
me ask
get
you
it
this.
screaming, you deserve nothing.
Well,
Okay, calm down, cowboy.
there's an emotional tie to that, man.
No,
like,
but with music, it was true. You had to work for it. Even when you started downloading it, you had to go out of it. It took like an hour to download a song. Now
well,
you
even
guys
when we
just
got technology, even when
We
we got
sound
what
like a
was the
bunch of
first?
old grumpy
no,
men
that's what
right
we're gonna
now.
do.
I'm just enjoying the show.
Getting old is good.
So let me ask you this.
That's what it's about.
Any of you two had to deal with the cassettes and the cassettes player?
Yeah, we had cassettes. I was around before CDs.
And
A-tracks. I was listening to
A-tracks?
A-tracks.
Well,
who
you
beat
never
us.
had. Okay, wait. Was
A-tracks who beat us.
A-tracks.
out.
Okay, hold on. We had records.
Yes.
We had records and cassettes.
But were records and what's older? 8-tracks or 8-tracks or
8-tracks.
records?
8-tracks.
A-track.
So 8-tracks was
No,
older.
no.
records.
Records are older.
Long,
Records are older.
long plane.
Okay, so that means you guys never had. We never had 8-tracks in the house.
We
then, 'cause
had 8-tracks.
We had vinyl. Oh, I don't
We
remember.
had 8-tracks.
Well,
You
well-
were itty bitty.
What music did you have on there?
We had Christian music, 8-tracks, and grandpa's cassettes. You know when
Oh,
he
I
sang.
remember those.
First piece of music you owned.
My father actually had a reel-to-reel projector, so I got to see those in my lifetime.
Well, we got those
and
at,
camera.
We got those at school because they had no budget. So
that's
we're going to talk about sexual education. They brought in the reel to reel and said, "I'm like, oh, here we go. This is going to
Yeah.
be good." First piece of music you owned. What did
First piece of music I owned
or that you
That
purchased?
you purchased.
That
that I
bought.
purchased was
with
in,
your money.
in
Yeah.
Germany when I was 17. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, I thought he was gonna go David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff sings the hits. What about you?
Germany?
What was the first thing you bought?
Dr. Dre, The Chronic on cassette. I was in second grade.
Fancy.
Wow.
That was the first piece of music I bought with my own money. My
Money
grandma
nothing.
went with me, and I don't think she realized what I was buying.
My first piece of music that I bought was
Brick House.
Tupac, Are You Still Down?
Oh, boy.
The double disc.
Here we go.
There you go.
And I couldn't get it because it had a parental advisory on it. So I waited outside of Blockbuster Music with my lunch money that I had saved for 3 weeks because Blockbuster Music overcharged. So it was like $22.97. And I got $10 a week for lunch. So I saved it for 3 weeks, and then I stood outside and I asked like probably 6-7 adults in a row if they would buy me the CD before some guy's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, can you buy this for me?" And he bought it, and then I came home and I was learned in the ways of the Tupac.
Yeah.
As I hid it from my parents.
And we
But you see, but
censored
those
him.
are the things that you had to do, and that's why you appreciate things. Now, when you get older, that's really when you appreciate things. And I'm sure that these kids nowadays will, are going through some struggle that generations down the line will fix, and they'll make fun of it,
We
right?
hope.
But that's why we love some of these things,
So aging is good.
The
Aging is
electric
good.
car thing.
Yes.
Like I'm old school. I love my petrol, right? I love my gas powered cars, but to the new kids, they like their electric, and rightfully so. And before you know it, they'll fix the electric and do something else with it, and we'll complain about, I used to plug my car in. Now you guys don't have to, right? And so who knows what
Yeah,
technology?
right. You don't have a charge mat. You can just drive over. I mean, that's same thing with
So
phone charging.
my recommendation to the audience and to our co-host here is play this episode on a Friday family night to your kids.
So they can hear about how in my day we had to go uphill in the snow both
Hey.
ways.
Dude, I mean,
Everybody
yeah.
likes the glory, but they don't know the story. They need to know the story.
You want to know the best part about that Tupac CD?
Oh boy.
I asked mom for it one day when we were at Blockbuster, and she goes, parental advisory, explicit lyrics. And then she flips it over and she goes, "I wonder if heaven got a ghetto. What is this?" I'll never forget how she said
believe
it.
that.
"I wonder if heaven got a ghetto." And she's like, "Yeah, no. What is this?"
Nope.
I believe that. Oh, but Tupac was good. I like Tupac. I didn't own the Tupac. I did the double disc later.
There was
I bought that later
which
down
double
the
disc?
line.
All Eyes on Me or Are You Still Down?
No,
my
the one
goodness.
after he passed away, the
Oh, the greatest hits.
the greatest hits.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I had
Well,
that. That was my first Tupac
I have
purchase.
no idea what you're talking
Everybody
about.
had it.
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
that was a good double album.
Dr. Mario had it too.
Getting
He
old.
would listen to Dear Mama.
But same thing, movies. You didn't stream. I remember going to the movies.
Okay, so we're rambling on about technology and the old.
It's just crazy.
Bottom line is that funny
You
enough,
too will get old.
that too. But we have a joke in our group chat, and it's funny enough that when
Oh,
anyone,
you be careful with the group chat on there.
I'm
dude.
not, I'm
Their
not
group
showing
chat.
it. I'm not showing it. But what I'm saying, he's taking all the sin is purged off
Their
his-
group chat.
So whenever anyone's doing good, or it's the early morning time, it says if you woke up this morning, you're already winning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you woke up this morning, you're already succeeding, you're already winning.
And look forward to getting old, man. Like you should. Like Coach is right. You should look forward to getting old. You should look forward to what life is going to throw at you, and how you're going to answer back. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. There's a beautiful road paved waiting for you, whichever way it leads. And you really need to just walk it and enjoy every single step of the way.
I know where mine leads, and it's a good thing. And I just got to say this. Don't rush it. Live your life one day at a time, and don't rush it. I remember being 12, wanting to be 16, get the driver's permit. It'll come.
Oh, I did the same.
Yeah, it'll come.
I did the same, man. I was.
I mean, do we still want to do that? I mean, I remember wanting to be 16. I don't remember any. I don't ever remember like I want to be 21 so I can drink. That was never a thing to me. But wanting to get my license was.
No,
Frank's like, I was drinking already.
no. So I was 16 and I was in love with a 21-year-old, and mad. Okay. I open book. I'll share with you guys. I was 16. She was 21. I was madly in love with this chick.
Did she know you existed?
No, yeah.
Was she on TV?
No, we dated, which was right. She was in an older crowd, and I remember her going to Friday nights. I would get out of school, I would go work, and then Friday night was easy for me to have a job at Winn-Dixie, because when I worked there, the next day they didn't care about you got school the next day, you have to stop the hours. So Friday, Saturday, Sundays I would get good hours. So Friday night I would go, and I remember them were like, hey, we're going to go to Alcazaba, right down here in the Gables.
I don't even know what that is.
It's an old bar right down the street. Look that up, right?
We're going to go to Alcazaba. We're going to get Zimas.
So I was 16. The girl I was madly in love with, I was 21, going to a bar with friends. And I'm like, I can't wait to get older. I can't wait to go to those places. I can't wait to do those things. So at 16, I was running around trying to get whatever adult pass I can get to space, whatever adult, if I could figure out a fake ID, I would. Like I tried getting a fake ID, and the guy, all he did was just like one of my friends, like, I can do it for you. Just give me your ID. I gave him the ID. And back then there weren't different IDs. It was the same thing, just the birthday. I just like scratched off the numbers and like penned in the 2 years, and I'm like, this looks horrible.
Thanks for that. And I got to order a new one.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I had to go back home, tell my parents I lost it. I lost my ID. No, bro, I just gave it to one of my friends, and he turned it into a freaking paper mache. Wow. But I do remember rushing to get older for those things. Right. I remember I can't wait till I'm a grown up. I can't wait till I'm an adult. I can't wait to get older.
And he's still waiting, ladies and gentlemen.
I regret those days. I wish I would have enjoyed those moments better.
That's why I said it. You want to enjoy them because
Dr. Mars, right?
It's a premium, right? We got a premium every day. We all get 24 hours in a day. How you use them, it's up to you. I think that for me, one of the benefits, other than the ones we've already talked about, for me, it's that inner peace. Been there, done that, right? And still achieving and still hoping and still contributing to my passions, to my God-given call. But it's not a rush.
No, an experience too. So yeah, I'll leave you guys with this, and then I'll really stop.
I'm done.
Went on a date with her. Finally go on a date with this chick. This is good.
What's her name? What's her name?
No, we don't mention names. You guys have gotten me close a couple times.
What's his name?
She was Colombian.
Not that kind of show, folks.
And I'll never forget it, man. It's so difficult. But to your point, inexperience. So she's dropping me off. She drives. I don't have a car yet. She's dropping me off, right? And right in front of my parents' house. And she leans in, she gives me a kiss on the cheek, and then she's like, "Oh, are you cool with it?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm cool, I'm cool."
I'm okay.
I'm okay. Then she goes, "Right, okay, I'm still in the car. I'm looking at her. She's looking at me like, all right, what the hell?" So another kiss on the cheek. All right, cool. And then we're like, all right, man, like I gotta make a move. I gotta do something. Like I this is just weird. So I lean over, and while I'm leaning over, she leans over, and we kiss. My immature inexperience decides, oh, I'm going to be smooth on this one. So I lean over more. She falls back on her chair, and then I'm kissing her, right? We're making out. I reach over, and I pull the latch for the seat to go back slowly. Well, the weight of two teenagers.
That's an older car.
On that, it was a Ford Focus.
What was that, a Matchbox?
It was a Ford Focus. Dude, that seat just went boom and just went back.
And
like
that's
it just
how
fell.
she chipped her tooth.
That's how I chipped my tooth.
Shut up.
So wait.
Oh my.
True story. So we stand up and we're like, oh man, and she's looking in the mirror and she's like, oh my God, my mouth hurts. And I'm like, oh, this is what being punched in the face feels like. And I'm like, whatever. And then she looks down and she sees a white speck on her and she's like, what the hell is this? So she grabs it and she's like, oh my God, I chipped my tooth. And she's looking in the mirror. And I'm just sitting there just like playing with my tooth. And I'm like, that gap's not supposed to be there. And I'm like, no, my love, I don't think that's yours. I smile and I have the full Dumb and Dumber, half a tooth missing. It's on her.
Wow.
That's my first time with. So
look here, partner.
Signs of aging.
And when you get old, you avoid things like that. Now, I got it capped, I got it fixed, whatever. It was, big funny thing. And to this day, I still have it. Like, you just can't tell, right? But
so
yeah, the inexperiences of
in
being,
closing, another beautiful thing is the level of confidence you get. You're confident with yourself, with what you know.
You can say dumb things like that and laugh about it.
That is one thing too. You get more confident, and it's not like I don't care. I'm going outside. I'm doing what I need to do. I don't need to dress up. This is me. Here I go. So enjoy the journey. It's a fun one.
It's great.